Stroke recovery is much more than physical weakness after discharge. After an acute stroke, patients can develop swallowing problems, aspiration, skin breakdown, depression, mobility issues, communication deficits, and a high risk for another stroke if prevention is not addressed early. In this lecture, we'll focus on the nursing priorities after the acute stroke phase: rehabilitation, complication prevention, safety, medication management, patient education, and long-term recovery planning. For NCLEX, remember this: recovery starts immediately after stabilization, and nurses play a major role in preventing secondary injury and improving long-term outcomes. One of the highest yield stroke concepts for NCLEX is understanding left versus right hemisphere findings. Left hemisphere strokes usually affect the right side of the body and commonly cause aphasia, so these patients may struggle to speak, understand language, read, or write. They also tend to be slower, cautious, and aware of their deficits. Right hemisphere strokes affect the left side of the body and are more associated with impulsive behavior, poor judgment, spatial perceptual problems, and neglect of the affected side. These patients are often less aware of their deficits, which increases safety risks and fall risk. A quick memory tip: left brain equals language, right brain equals reality awareness and perception. Positioning and mobility are huge parts of post-stroke nursing care because immobility quickly leads to complications like contractures, skin breakdown, pneumonia, and venous stasis. Patients should be repositioned at least every 2 hours with proper limb support and alignment. Range of motion exercises are extremely important, especially for the affected extremities, to reduce spasticity and prevent permanent contractures. You also want to watch carefully for signs that activity is not being tolerated, including shortness of breath, chest pain, cyanosis, or tachycardia. Stroke patients are at very high risk for pressure injuries because weakness, immobility, decreased sensation, and impaired awareness prevent normal repositioning. That means nurses cannot rely on the patient to report discomfort. Frequent skin assessment becomes critical. Pay close attention to high-risk areas like the heels, sacrum, elbows, shoulders, and occiput. One major nursing priority is heel protection. Float the heels off the bed using pillows or protective devices because heel tissue breaks down very quickly. Turning schedules, skin checks, moisture control, and early mobility are all essential parts of pressure injury prevention after stroke. Aphasia is a language disorder, not an intelligence disorder, and that distinction is extremely important when caring for stroke patients. With expressive or Broca's aphasia, the patient understands what you are saying but struggles to get words out. Speech may be slow, broken, or frustrating for them. With receptive or Wernicke's aphasia, the patient can speak fluently, but the words may not make sense, and they often have difficulty understanding spoken language. Global aphasia affects both comprehension and expression, and is the most severe form. When communicating, speak slowly, use simple phrases, allow extra response time, and never talk about the patient like they are not in the room. Communication after stroke requires patience and consistency. Many patients understand far more than they can express. Approach the patient from the front, maintain eye contact, and speak slowly in a calm, normal tone. Short, direct sentences work best. Gestures, pictures, and pointing to objects can also help reinforce meaning. One common mistake is rushing to finish the patient's sentences. Give them time to process and respond. And most importantly, never speak about the patient like they are not present. Aphasia affects language, not dignity or intelligence. Stroke recovery is not only physical. Emotional and psychological effects are extremely common for both patients and families. Patients may experience depression, frustration, withdrawal, anxiety, or emotional lability, especially when communication or mobility is affected. Families and caregivers can also experience major stress, exhaustion, and burnout as roles suddenly change. Part of nursing care is recognizing these changes early, encouraging support systems, involving rehabilitation and mental health resources when needed, and helping families understand that emotional recovery is part of stroke recovery too. Sexual health is often overlooked after stroke, but it can significantly affect quality of life and relationships. Neurologic deficits, fatigue, spasticity, incontinence, emotional stress, and medication side effects can all affect intimacy and sexual function after recovery. Some patients are also afraid that sexual activity could trigger another stroke. These conversations should be approached professionally and without embarrassment. Open-ended, supportive communication helps patients and families feel safe asking questions they may otherwise avoid discussing. Post-stroke recovery is not just about survival. It's about helping patients regain independence safely and realistically. Adaptive equipment can make daily activities much easier. Things like long-handled sponges, elastic shoelaces, plate guards, wide-grip utensils, raised toilet seats, and gait belts help patients compensate for weakness, poor coordination, or limited mobility. And remember, recovery changes over time. What a patient needs during the first week may be very different from what they need a month later, so reassessment and adjustment are ongoing parts of care. One major issue after stroke is that complications can start developing fast if the patient becomes immobile or loses protective reflexes. Patients with dysphagia are at high risk for aspiration pneumonia, so swallow screening comes before any food, drink, or oral medications. Keep the patient upright during and after meals, and watch for coughing, wet voice sounds, or crackles. Immobility also increases the risk for DVT formation. Prevention includes SCDs, anticoagulation when appropriate, early ROM exercises, and monitoring the legs for swelling, warmth, redness, or pain. Stroke recovery is also about preventing secondary complications across multiple body systems. Neurologically, watch closely for seizures or increased ICP. Red flags include worsening LOC, vomiting, headache, or unequal pupils. Keep the head of bed elevated and avoid extreme hip flexion. Cardiovascularly, recurrent stroke is one of the biggest long-term risks, so blood pressure control, glucose management, and medication adherence are critical. GI and GU complications are common too. Dysphagia can lead to malnutrition. Immobility can cause constipation, and neurogenic bladder may lead to retention or incontinence. Scheduled toileting, bladder scanning, hydration, and nutrition monitoring all become important parts of nursing care. After a carotid endarterectomy, airway and blood pressure monitoring are top priorities. Neck swelling can quickly become an airway emergency. Watch for stridor, hoarseness, difficulty swallowing, or tracheal deviation, and keep the head of bed elevated. Blood pressure has to stay tightly controlled because hypertension increases the risk for bleeding or stroke, while hypotension can reduce cerebral perfusion. You'll also assess several cranial nerves post-op. Check facial symmetry, voice quality, swallowing ability, shoulder shrug strength, and tongue movement to help identify possible nerve injury early. Discharge planning after stroke is not one size fits all. The patient's physical ability, cognition, endurance, and support system all help determine the safest next step. Home health is for medically stable patients who have good family or caregiver support. Inpatient rehab is much more intensive and requires patients to tolerate several hours of therapy daily. Skilled nursing is for patients who still need nursing care and therapy, but cannot handle the intensity of inpatient rehab. And LTAC is reserved for medically complex patients who require ongoing high-level care, like ventilators, tracheostomies, or complex wound management. Discharge education after stroke has to be very practical and very specific. Families need to leave understanding medications, safety needs, mobility assistance, and warning signs that require immediate attention. Medication reconciliation is critical. Patients and caregivers should know exactly when and why medications like antiplatelets, statins, and blood pressure medications are taken. Home safety also matters. Things like grab bars, shower chairs, wheelchairs, ramps, and fall prevention strategies can significantly reduce injury risk. And before discharge, caregivers should be able to safely demonstrate transfers, bathing assistance, and use of adaptive equipment. Families also need to recognize red flags like aspiration symptoms, infection, worsening neurologic changes, or signs of recurrent stroke during those first high-risk weeks at home. Post-stroke care is really about protecting the patient from complications while helping them rebuild function, confidence, and independence. Recovery is not just physical. It includes communication, mobility, emotional health, family support, nutrition, safety, and prevention of another stroke. And one of the biggest takeaways is this: Discharge is not the end of care. The transition from hospital to rehab, skilled nursing, or home is a high-risk period where education, coordination, and follow-up matter tremendously. The big picture in post-stroke recovery is that complications are not limited to the brain. Stroke affects mobility, swallowing, communication, behavior, mood, and family dynamics. Key nursing priorities include preventing aspiration pneumonia, pressure injuries, and DVTs, while also recognizing cognitive and emotional changes that can dramatically affect recovery. Remember that left-sided strokes are more associated with aphasia and cautious behavior, while right-sided strokes often cause impulsiveness, poor judgment, and lack of awareness of deficits. And finally, recovery impacts the entire family. Caregiver burnout, depression, and communication struggles are common, so education and support are essential parts of long-term stroke care.